shut up, you listen to my monkey mouth. There's a companion when you got pun on the canoa route. Hopped in a portal and got in a fight, Elias knocked him out. Bow, Naruto fighting style. Bow, UFC he tapped out. Bow, we win, we get crowned. Monkey mouth, monkey mouth, monkey mouth, monkey mouth.
Them Portal Boys be podcasting. This is Joshua.
This is Elias.
On this episode, we're going to be covering Season 2, Episode 6 of Rick and Morty, entitled The Ricks Must Be Crazy.
So, The Ricks Must Be Crazy is what I'm assuming a play on The Gods Must Be Crazy. And just to give you like a brief, kind of opening of what that is, a soda water bottle falls on an island out of a plane, and it essentially becomes the tribal people's gods. God, I mean.
Yeah. Well, so that happened in World War I or II, whenever they landed on some Pacific islands, and they gave the islanders food, and the islanders still to this day make straw replications of airplanes, hoping to court in more airplanes type shit. Yeah. That's a fun play. I didn't realize that. That's a neato little thing.
Yeah. So that was just a cool thing that kind of popped in my head. So.
Well, this episode is fucking crazy.
It's just
we were watching it, and we've all seen it. Mikey and I have seen this episode. We've seen all the episodes dozens of times.
Exactly. And now we're doing it for a show. So I literally, this is the fourth time I watched it, and just today.
Yeah, and this shit still had us cracking up. Man, even as many times as we've seen it, this one still got some rewatchability. It's a knee slap.
Just so cold, man. Every one of them, the one-liners just
so much
cut so deep, man.
Yeah, they're pretty vicious. They pull some pretty wild punches on this one, but the way that they kind of tee it all up is the gang is leaving out of the movies. It's Rick, Morty, and Summer, and they're leaving a ball fondle in the movie, and they're remarking on how awesome it is that they have a ball fondlers movie franchise.
And how they were they really underestimated what PG-13 should be. They have
it's amazing what they'll consider PG-13 in this universe.
And so Summer, Morty, and Rick are actually this is I love the really getting along episodes, because it's always gonna spiral out of control somehow. When they're wanting to I guess the abandoned ship, they get to become pirates. That was them kind of really getting together and coming along. Boob World is another one.
Yeah,
where they just immediately stop, so they don't get to go for the fifth time they promised Morty that they're gonna go.
I don't think we're ever gonna see.
No Boob World. But so they're all out, and he's like, "Oh, I wish it's so sad that our universe can't be like this one." And he's like, "Well, this one had 11 9/11s and
11 9/11s.
Yeah, 11 9/11s.
There's benefits and drawbacks to every reality. It's also giant telepathic spiders."
And he goes, "But the universe's best ice cream."
Yeah. So they're gonna go get fucking dank ass ice cream, and they sit down in the car and they go to go.
Yeah.
And the car won't start.
It
has
a starter. Yeah.
It's pretty fucking classic. But they wind up going into the battery, and on their way out, Rick tells the car to keep Summer safe.
Yeah, and that was just prime directive now. It's just keep Summer safe. I think it even says it right before they go into the battery. Keep Summer safe.
It definitely repeats that. Keep Summer safe.
Yeah.
And as they go, they go off into the other universe, or into the miniverse. This scary looking dude, old school greaser looking, with the cigarette pack rolled up in his white t-shirt and a scar on his eye.
Before you get to the murder, the absolute ship just being so savage, just whenever Morty goes into the battery and he's like, "What just happened, Grandpa?" And he goes, "You know that thing you asked 2 seconds ago outside of the battery? Well, yeah, it's happened. You're in the battery." He's
whenever I said we were going to be in the battery, and now I'm not "Oh, whoa, what's happening?" Where
I'm telling you, man. This episode, Rick was at peak dick.
The whole episode felt like gym talk.
Yeah.
That's what it sounded like. It was just quick, jabby shit talk.
Just everyone was that. Everyone but Summer. The ship was even getting some in. Summer's the only totally chill one.
And she's traumatized by the end of the episode.
Okay, so yeah, I'm sorry, I just had to get to that
Well, so the car fucking hits this.
Yeah, the greaser
who turns out to be
a pediatrician.
Yeah,
he's
he gets done up I don't know if anybody remembers this, but you remember the Resident Evil?
The first Resident Evil.
Yeah, and they're in that hallway, and there's that buff dude.
Yeah,
he's jumping around the lasers.
I think
they
just like
turn into like a grid pattern and turn them into fucking cubes.
Like cubed ham, man. It's just, and I think like just like one little piece of the side eyebrow. They did this really cool thing on the movie where like it's just like the side eyebrow kind of like just folds off and then he just crumbles.
Yeah, yeah, it is crazy. And so I wonder if it was intentionally a callback to
it had to have been, right?
Either way, it gave me OG Resident Evil movie nostalgia. But to digress, I don't like them Resident Evil movies, bro. I saw the first one.
The first one's great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great for what it is. This rose-colored lenses, right?
It was okay. It was passable, and everything after the second one I couldn't watch. And, like, the thing that bothered me, bro, is that, like, in the Resident Evil the whole game series kind of devolved. Because whenever it first started, it was, like, resource gathering.
Yeah, it was a survival game.
Adventure, survival.
You never really got a full clip. You get like maybe 6 bullets here or there.
Well, but also, like the zombies were slow moving, and like it was scary because they could pop out of anywhere. Like it was always like mounting in suspense, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And the new games don't really mount in suspense. They're just
it's all terror. Yeah, it's all like I think that kind of came with the zombie. Like the evolution of zombie movies and everything in the early or mid 2000s and stuff like that. It didn't help. 28 Days Later really didn't help either.
There's no telling how much. The bottom line is that I feel as though the Resident Evil video game franchise took a weird turn after a while, and then like the movies paid homage to the games after they made the weird turns.
Yeah.
And I wish that they had been like more. I wish the movies had been like more horror, suspense.
Silent Hill stayed super close to video game and movie. That was a great one.
Like the Silent Hill vibes, the way that they did Silent Hill is much more how I'd have preferred to see a Resident Evil movie done.
They really did love that video game. A lot of people here like it's impossible to make like a really good video game movie. Like Super Mario Brother kind of didn't do what people wanted it to do. There's a lot of things that people want them to do, and then it just felt like Silent Hill kind of was able to tip a lot of hats to things and not have to like make it as unwatchable.
It was its own thing. It was watchable, and it paid perfect homage to the game.
Yeah.
And so it can be done. Like if you're fucking film producers, it can be done.
Well, Sonic the Hedgehog, I guess, was one of those that actually became a home run.
How crazy is it to think that Jim Carrey's most profitable movies ever are those goddamn Sonic the Hedgehog movies?
Oh, and I'm sure he hates life about it too. Like to a point. I mean, he's making millions and millions of dollars.
He was retiring. Like,
yeah,
it was like I hit my big lick. I'm done.
I think it was almost a bit of depression though too, right? Like wow, like nothing that I've ever touched from Ace Ventura to what is it? Spotless Colored Mind has done as good as the Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
That's good fucking movie.
It's a great movie, but it can't touch Sonic the Hedgehog numbers.
Well, again, if you equivocate the profitability of something with its quality, then sure, right?
Of course,
we all know what's a better movie. If you're holding up Jim Carrey's best work to his most profitable work, you know which one's.
And I think that's why he's kind of tired, right? He's like, God dang, like
Well, homie's old. Homie's like 60. Like homie's getting old, bro. Yeah. I don't know exactly how old he is, but like every time he looks tired. He looks tired.
I think he's ridden that DMT train and is kind of over everything, man. I mean, he was talking to this one woman like. He's like, none of this matters. You don't matter. I don't matter. These fancy clothes don't matter.
All I see is dancing dodecahedrons. Tetrahedrons is what he referred to. Yeah. He got stanky old wizard eyes.
Yeah.
If anybody's curious what's going on with Jim Carrey, homie has stanky old wizard eyes on the track, and he is existing in multiple planes of existence simultaneously. Like homie has been to the mountaintop and stayed there instead of coming back.
Yeah.
But
to get back to this,
they get down into the battery, and they're inside of a cube, like a ship that's shaped like a cube, and the cube is inside of a volcano. And
it wasn't the cosmic carburetor.
The quantum carburetor.
The quantum carburetor.
You can't just throw a sci-fi word in front of a car part and expect it to be good. Oh, we got to go check out the miniverse, miniverse battery.
The miniverse battery, yeah.
Yeah, so I love how he's like, yeah, you can't do that.
Immediately, that's this entire episode of just like, I can, you can't, you know. Let's not.
I love the slavery with extra steps, and I love how it comes up in the like how Morty says it, and then Rick says it, and then Zeep says it, and as Zeep is saying it, Rick just like mouths it along the side.
He's just like kind of like a 10-year-old behind him.
Like it's fucking showtime. He knew exactly what was coming.
So Stephen Colbert plays the Zeep. Yeah, plays it. Yeah, Stephen Colbert plays the first battery, and then what sound to be like, we don't know for sure, right? Tina from Bob's Burgers sounded to be in the teeny universe. So that
I love that. I love that the people in the universe that Rick made look like dicks. Yeah. And the people in the universe that the dick people made look like cum. Like that's some.
It's some next level hard. I mean, it's some next level steps, right? Like they oh. Okay, digress again. Did you hear what's going on in the Philippines, or was it that they're like they're cutting those jug plants they call are vase plants, base plants that like take in small animals, and like they're actual meat eating plants, or they actually feast on flesh. People are like literally cutting them at their beginning stage because they look like cocks, because they open up into a vase.
Oh my god!
So they're literally taking them pre-bloom, so that they for like vitality or whatever, and also to for sentiment, for like how would you say it? Like gift pieces and stuff like that, to give them as gifts or to keep them as trinkets.
Here's your dick plant. I love you. Philippines, weird place. I guess that's what happens when you can't smoke weed, can't do nothing. The Philippines is like. Isn't the Philippines like fucking a dictatorship right now?
Yeah, they just like got rid of Duterte, and now they got like his like sister or something.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, they were like, we're just gonna take the tanks and take
them
real quick,
I'm
and
sorry.
then we'll hand it over to the people, and then it just like never got handed over to the people.
Yeah, I think I missed that. I think it was Cambodia, but that's my apology.
Shit about nothing that's going on in the world, bro. I hardly know what's going on in this episode. I have to have notes. I've seen this episode like 10 times. I need notes.
And so anyways, that was so them looking like cocks. That's what it comes down to.
And so cock plants and Google box technology.
Yeah,
where
Google.
You jog in place and it generates electricity.
They basically were built to just power his car, and they don't even know it. And I love that he has that. He's waiting to tell that to one of them, to like just completely disintegrate them. Yeah. So they're literally pedaling in place, and as they're doing that, I think that he's getting really frustrated, and he goes to want to talk to Stephen Colbert, the top scientist, right, about the technology that's going to make his power, obsolete.
Yeah.
And so what ends up happening from there is he's talking to him about, he's basically now saying everything that he was saying to Morty, right?
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things that happened between here and there that I really liked was the slow ramp. It really gets their dick hard with this ramp reaching out all slow, and then I love that he had everybody flipping each other off, saying that was peace among worlds.
Yeah,
like,
and he goes.
Rick is such a fucking 10-year-old.
And he says something that's supposed to be much obliged. Is it like suck my cock?
It was blow me.
Blow me.
Oh, it was fuck you.
Well, yeah. And he goes, "What did you say to me?"
And then they made amends with blow me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I love how Rick can't even quite keep track of it.
Oh my god! And so they get to meet the scientist who's about to make his power up.
Basically, like the dickhead equivalent of Rick.
Yeah.
I love that he goes that he drops out of school because it isn't a place for smart people.
And Morty's like, ooh, yeah. It's like he was a little hype man for his. I guess that's the Jerry in him, right? He's gonna go to any prominent, strong figure in that moment.
Oh, well, I think that Morty just loves getting, like, he always gets shit on by Rick, so seeing Rick get shit on is great for him.
For taking it, like when Morty's Mindbusters, taking it for granted, or granted. For granted.
What are you, a rock person? That's great, dude. One other thing, I love the antennas.
Oh yeah, just to like.
And I love that Rick's like, there's nothing. I think it was something to the effect of it not being a lie. Like,
yeah,
there's nothing untruthful about what we're doing.
Yeah.
Now put these antennae on. We need you to appear like you're an alien. But it's so funny too that like you are an alien.
Yeah, you don't have to appear.
Like,
yeah,
bro, these people are green dickhead people. You're like peach ape people. Like, what's going on?
It's the funniest thing because he's literally putting on a mask when he doesn't need to, and immediately is mocking the other person for the way that they look, like a little much. Like I love that the thing that he created is almost just a little bit more, just a little bit cleaner than he is. You know, that's not as sloppy.
Yeah,
you know?
like his fucking. Well, so it might be that he's trying harder because Rick knows how efficiency, right? Like you notice that, like every time that like it comes down to like whenever Rick decides if something's good or not, is it efficient or not? Like he poked fun at the network of Mortys on the facility
because you just need one in a jumper.
Like, you can get 4 on a jumper cable, do the same thing.
Yeah,
you know, so that's where he's at. Is like I don't need all that. I can achieve the same thing with a pair of antennae.
Yeah,
like I can achieve the same level of technological equivalence with so much less effort.
Yeah,
but
he stays legitimately drunk all the time too, right?
Well,
or whatever, some sort of stimulant that he takes.
Yeah, his mega fruit seed juice mix, But so if you have 2 pieces of technology that achieve the same goal, the one that requires less effort to do is probably going to be considered the superior thing. And so he's like probably superior to Zeep insofar as he's able to get the same shit done with less effort.
And also he created Zeep, right? So I mean that's
at that point, who knows? You know, he's a thing running off on his own. I love that what Zeep has his the people in his
is a crank.
Yeah, it's a flubel crank.
Flubel crank. Yeah. And then a crank a day isn't good enough. Make it
a crank a day isn't nearly
enough. Yeah.
See, you're all right. Zeep's all right.
The juvenile just behavior in this episode is 2 and 11.
Yeah, well, and like the hypocrisy of it all. Like again, like in this particular instance, another bit of hypocrisy is whenever Rick literally like gets upset about the immoral nature
of
what Zeep is doing, and Morty literally has to call him over. Bro, you don't see the hypocrisy in this? And Rick's
he's like, oh my god, you're so right.
We need to go and show him how big a hypocrite he's being. Not that he's being hypocrite.
No,
to show how Zeep.
He has to show him. It's the ego, and of course he knows he's wrong, right? It's just like he can't to the point where, you know, he's just the bigger dick in the room because. I don't want to cut to the end, so I'm trying to keep it from that. But I mean,
we'll talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, he literally beats the shit out of him and knows that he can leave and that he's still going to be stepping on that step the next day.
What was the line? Zeep knew that I would either have to toss a busted battery, or my car would start.
Yeah, literally.
And so I mean, this episode is vicious. Like
it's so savage. I mean, so
one of the things that So Zeep's costume is crazy.
Yeah,
right? It's
like a zip up. He's got a little. It's cresting out of a vagina, is what it is.
It's like a big green fucking sphincter. More like an asshole. It's a sphincter. It's a sphincter face. But the cops show up to Summer, and Summer's basically
petrified.
She's the car conditions so that it can't use force.
Because she was just like terrified, and the car was like, okay, well, since you don't want to kill anybody, we're gonna do social.
Yeah, it turned one guy into Swiss cheese, and then it paralyzes the next guy.
Yeah, so now no more hurting.
They're psychological.
Yeah, no more physical pain is pretty much what the ship had taken into account.
Yeah.
So then it goes psychological, and it starts. All the cops are there, and it's like recognizing. It's going through some sort of facial recognition on that planet.
Indexing news articles and shit.
From each individual person, and then finding out that the captain had lost his son.
Due to it being drowned.
Yeah.
His son drowned.
And then essentially turns it into water. On top of letting it just melt, it literally turned into water.
Yeah,
right?
It turns into goo. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
It's some crazy shit.
It's like, please don't hurt Summer, and then just melts into goop. He's essentially trying to form back together.
Yeah, he's like just trying to gather his son back up, which is just a terrifying scene.
It's horrifying,
terrifying scene, but everybody's obviously like traumatized by this, right? And then it snaps us back to what's happening in the miniverse, and we get the peace among worlds full circle, right? Like Zeep's ramp isn't slow enough, and he's actually tossing up peace signs. And he nudges Morty. He's like, I showed these people this peace among worlds. Isn't that great? And Morty's just like, you're smart.
You're just like, he has to stroke his ego just like he has to stroke.
Oh, he knows. He knows he's dealing with the same motherfucker here. And so as Zeep is dealing with like being the alien celebrity that is the creator god of this universe,
they had a whole buffet out for
there were caterers. There was all kind of shit. They're setting up chafing dishes. All kinds of shit
for Rick Day, for the day that Rick returned.
Yeah, so they're doing the same thing for Zeep.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so the sperm people, Rick asks the president while Zeep is dealing with being a celebrity about the scientist.
And you did that the favorite burn of all.
My favorite line of the whole episode is, "Hey, are any of your scientists working on anything like new?" And he's like, "Yeah, all of them. That's their job."
So snippy, just
snippy.
It's so funny
because everybody typically knows who Rick is.
Yeah.
And this guy was like, he's like the leader of his whole country.
Yeah.
And it's
so
like,
to him,
you're
he's
just like a dude who tagged along with Zeep. Like, yeah, they all are. It's their job. Like, someone finally hit Rick with that. Like, how it's the same energy as whenever Rick was like, "Whoa, whenever we said we'd be in the battery," and then I'm not like, "Wow, where are we?"
It really is that same energy.
Same energy. It's like, yeah, they are. Dude. It's their fucking job. They're scientists. What the fuck are you asking me right now? And Rick's like, "What about like a little universe in a box?" And he's like, "What the fuck you know about that?"
He just snaps out of it, and he's just like, "Oh my god!"
He's like, "Oh shit! How do you know about that?"
And so they're taking him to now. Essentially, to the scientist who's doing that, which we said sounds like Tina from Bob's Burgers, just a really like melancholy kind of slow voice, just
it's very drug out,
drug out,
apathetic,
and he's excited for what he's done, but their excitement doesn't seem to be as much as the last two. They're very muted.
Well, but beyond that, they're not as advanced. Yet, you know what I'm saying? Like they're not as far along. You know what I'm saying? Like they're still on the cusp of getting to where the previous civilization in the verse that this little box exists within, and so they're just a step behind.
Yeah,
in quite the same way as Zeep is a step behind Rick.
Yeah, and in such, as they're going through this, they're basically arguing with each other, and they get into an actual full blown fight, talking about the basically between their ego, right? Or is that a little later on?
The actual fist fight?
Yeah,
that's when they're on the way out. Like, they're on the way. That's one of the very last things that happens.
Okay.
And so, what happens is whenever they land inside of the Teenyverse, he's explaining the Blue Yank technology. Yeah. And that's whenever Zeep starts getting on to the semen scientist about what he's doing
slavery.
To the world. And that's whenever Rick's like mouthing behind him exactly what's going on. That's whenever like you see the light click in Zeep, and he's like, "Did you create my fucking universe, dude? Like, what the fuck?"
Why? But what I want to know is why did Rick let that slide? Why did he want him to break his heart so much more that he figured it out instead of him telling him?
Well,
because is it because he's that smart and he should have known immediately, or was it just like?
I think that Rick knew that this dude wouldn't believe it at face value. Okay. Like it's some shit where like he's got too big an ego to hear something like that.
Yeah, he can't imagine this monkey man making this.
It's got to be his discovery, right? Like he can't be told nothing. He's got to discover something, and so there's something to like leading people to a conclusion and watching them discover it. That's like particularly entertaining, and I just think that Rick was.
Yeah, that's what I was like. He just wanted.
Yeah, I think Rick was just relishing.
Definitely.
And just like wanted to see that spontaneous like happen on its own. And so he's just like a maniacal fucking shithead.
Yeah.
And Zeep pieces it together and fucking attacks Rick. And Rick's like, "You're my fucking car battery." You know what I'm saying? Like, you power my brake lights type shit.
It's so great, man. He just keeps cutting them down with
and
that.
while they're fighting, the sperm scientist is like, that guy created a microverse, that guy created a miniverse, and that's my universe where I missed my dad's funeral because I was busy working on my teeny verse. And Summer's like, "Oh, lady science.
Oh, lady science.
Sure is a thing, isn't it?
Sure is a thing."
One time Rick shot me right through the hand with his laser gun.
And he's like, "No, really, right through it."
And like, homie is just like
devastated. He's broken.
He's just nothing. There's nothing. Like, he's just like staring off into space, literally expressionless, no emotions, no nothing, and like just in the middle of everything, just walks right to his ship, lifts it up,
slams it into the side of the mountain.
And now they're fucked. Now they're effectively stuck there until like they figure out how to create a way out of this universe with what's available in the environment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they're in deep at this point. You know, they kind of glazed over it. Like, Rick and Zeke, I mean, clearly didn't get
they didn't care.
The capacity, but like in real life, like they had to go through like a particular amount of work to get them
just to get them back. Yeah.
I wonder why Rick couldn't use his portal gun.
Maybe it would only portal him into dimensions, into that reality.
That's a fun question. I never thought about that. Why would Rick use his portal gun?
Yeah. I imagine it's moving through realities in that universe, right?
I don't know. I mean, they said it's an infinite universe within a box, so he might be limited to moving around within the box.
Oh, yeah.
That might be it. You can only move around within the box, which is a neat idea, because what if Rick can only move around within the box right now?
Yeah.
You know what I'm
saying?
Yeah. So there's a whole neat little line of reasoning to go down, but you don't want to think too hard on the ship.
Yeah, your nose will bleed. You'll be in it too
the
long.
show's full of shit.
Yeah,
like they're full of shit. Like you don't expect any level of coherence or scientific anything in this shit. But so effectively, the cum scientist kills himself, and Rick and Zeep have a craft off.
Yeah,
and Zeep is like trying to make a thing, and
he's
Rick's
just he's like, "I know what you're doing."
And Rick's like, "Pterodactyl." And fucking the dude like drops his shit because he's worried about a pterodactyl.
And he makes like a tiny catapult.
Yeah, a little catapult or trebuchet or something like that.
Yeah.
Something.
It was right next to those trebuchets instead of calling. That was the really not one of the best episodes, but as I look back, it's a really good one. That's the
giant come episode.
Yeah, the giant come up.
I love how Morty was like, "No one knows the difference," and then the next guy who walks up is like, "Oh, those guys down there next to that trebuchet." Who fucking knows the difference? Nobody.
A trebuchet uses a rope to fling it. So basically is a counterweight that flings the rock. When a catapult is cranked...
And it's tension.
Yeah.
Neat. Okay, well, no one gives a fuck.
I think that's the truth.
No one gives a flying fuck. Everyone, forget what Mikey just said. We're all looking for smart nothing here.
So there's, I just love the little darts. Get him like right through the arm, and he like has to rip it out. Like, they're so savage right now.
Oh,
they're animals.
They're like the most effective cavemen ever. And they're literally in caves.
They made mecha trees.
Yeah. Well, so Morty winds up being like, "Fuck this!
I'm gonna go live with
the tree people."
And he's like, "Be back before sunset. The trees eat people." And he's like, "No,
you gotta be back before sunset, or else the tree people will eat you."
Yeah, the tree people will eat you. And he's like, "No, they won't. They're peaceful people." And he's like, "Well, some people have to start." So
Morty's like, "Why are you lying about this?
Yeah.
True. And Rick goes, "It's a fucking prehistoric planet.
Yeah,
like someone needs to start creating culture, and it certainly can't be from the person who powers my brake lights." Like, just hollers across the way, shitting on Zeke. And
that was I don't know. That was that was one of my favorite burns when he just reduces him down to powering his brake lights.
Well, I love that Zeke. When they're fighting, Zeep's like, "I'm the one who like made the earth that you're standing on."
Yeah.
And Rick's like, "I'm the one who made the stars that turned
your mom's ovaries and made
Zeke's response to that is, "I never asked to be born." Like, this is not consensual at all. So fucking funny. How,
you're literally
the best scientist on the planet was reduced down to, "I wouldn't ask to be born."
Well, he's literally arguing with God.
Yeah.
He's arguing with God.
Literally the guy who created everything and everything that he's ever known. He's having to fucking have a
he's having
a fucking monkey fight across the gorge.
So he's legitimately so the only thing that man didn't do was the only thing that Alien didn't show is him impregnating a planet and fighting with their secondary tier god.
Bro, holy shit. I forgot about that episode. Shit gets crazy whenever Rick impregnates a planet. God damn. Wow, I can't wait to get to that episode. That's going to be such a fun episode. He's not Christian God. He's just a Zeus.
He's a second rate.
This is Christian God. This is going way different. Way different.
That Christian guy got him scared. Those other ones, he'd be taking him on.
Well, we all remember the time whenever he was in Schrodinger's garage and he knew time was out and the fire started praying.
Prayer is the last refuge of a scoundrel, man.
But
so
they have the mech suit fight.
I love that, the mech suit fight with the trees.
Yeah, Rick has like a snake. Which this is not the first time that Rick has busted a fucking snake out. Like Rick's got an affinity for snakes.
Yeah, I like that he knows later episode again, but I like that he knows snakes don't want legs. So he's like, this gun gives you legs. Does anybody else want any? And the snake slither off.
They're like, whoa, that does not look fun at all.
He was literally like stumbling around. It's the best thing ever.
Yeah, it was a trip. And I love that Zeep uses a falcon to
get rid of the snake.
And then Zeep uses marbles to get Rick to fall over and bust his mech suit.
Yeah.
And then Rick
busts him with like a vine thrower, almost like a
like a Batman claw type shit. And it turns out that Morty's now leading the tree people
and knows their language.
And Rick's like, well, that's a step up.
Like
he just admitted that, it's a step up from being my sidekick. Like,
good on you.
Good for you, motherfucker. And Morty takes them to like a special avatar tree. We're like, this is Ungala, blah blah blah. And like the moment that he realizes that the tree people are like dicking off
and not paying attention, like half there.
He's like, you have to get us out of here.
He's like,
I masturbated to Kirby Driftwood the other day. I missed my laptop. Type shit.
It's so great. It's just he's just over having to watch a pissing match between two giant egos, you know?
Well, he's fucking tired of fucking living among the tree people. They smell like piss
all the time. Yeah.
They fucking sacrifice every
third baby for his better fruit.
Yeah, it makes fucking plants grow bigger. Like, yeah, he's ready to get the fuck out of there. And like, bro, he did not consent to any of this. He wasn't trying to fucking get roped into any of this. This has been like a month-long ordeal. He was trying to go watch a movie and get some ice cream.
Okay, you know so we do pull out from there, right? We pull out into back to summer, right?
I never pull out. You deal with my babies. You need to fucking take a more than after pill, bitch.
So we're back to summer, and the psychological trauma was too much for Summer, and she was basically telling the ship that like now it's because it's getting more serious. Now the military's there, it's escalated out of control.
Yeah. Well, so real quick before we got there, whenever Morty told them that they had to work together, they were like, nah. And Morty commended the tree people to take them prisoner.
Oh,
and
that's right.
What actually got them to work together.
Yeah.
Is whenever they were literally like about to get eaten by tree people, they were like, all right,
that's
fuck it. I guess
the only time.
together,
Yeah,
right?
we can work together.
Neither of us want to die as selfish individuals, so like,
we'll work together.
Rather work with you than be dead.
And they
eaten by tree people. That's not a dignified.
They kind of develop a co-working friendship.
Yeah, one of them's an opium addict, one of them's an alcoholic.
Yeah,
they're both geniuses. They're both addicts. They're both shitheads. Like they're like.
They both are very.
Like apple don't fall far from the motherfucking tree.
Yeah,
you know it. You would think that something that Rick would create would have essence of Rick all in it, right? But so at this point, we do find ourselves back at the ship with Summer in them, and it's escalating very rapidly. But I mean, at that point, all they really show is that it's escalating.
Yeah, they just
they don't really go into anything.
They don't go into quite so much detail. It's just
the car like confirms that like I can't use psychological means, I can't use force, I can't take out this fucking whole military.
Yeah. Oh, but I can. Yeah,
like actually super clear
Yeah.
I can kill everyone here. You're just not allowing me to as the person who's controlling me.
You're tying my hands on this one,
yeah,
and
so
I just
you're
don't.
making this difficult, and that's whenever Summer says something cheeky to the car, and
He's
the car's like,
he's like, well, oh, like basically about like it not being able to basically not being able to do it without the violence,
Yeah, well,
and he's like, or without traumatizing her, and she's like, well, I'm sorry, I can't just like totally, I'm sorry, this isn't about Summer totally keeping the vibe she wants. That's you. That's how you sound.
I'm sorry that like the vibe isn't like totally chill. That's you. That's how you sound.
The ship just hates Summer.
I love that later on in the series, the ship totally bucks them too. Like the ship has like some mouth.
It has some very It's in the same point as whenever he gets pissed off that, when he makes a what is it called, a version of him out of light. Why can't I think of what that's called? Rick makes a hologram version of him, and he's eating fried chicken, and he's like, why are you eating fried chicken?
Why are you
pretending to eat? Yeah, and he's like, excuse me? Pretending to eat?
Yeah, dude, that's a fun episode. I love that they gave a legalized weed shout out in that episode. Like, they had Berkeley Rick, and he was just like still there with the legalize it sign. Like, let people smoke weed, federal government. How many states? How many states did it take for the federal government to acknowledge and make legal at the federal level gay marriage? Five. How many fucking states at this point have some form of medical marijuana or full on legalized?
It's a lot.
I think there's only like 10 states left that don't have some form of medical marijuana. I mean, bro, my girl Kimmy has a fucking medical marijuana card here in the state of Texas for PT. I don't mean to speak on anybody.
I'm sorry
that's
about
fine.
that.
She'll deal with it. But the bottom line is, like, I know people in real life in Texas who have medical marijuana cards for like all kinds of stuff, and it's like even in Texas now you can get it.
Yeah.
And so it's pretty fucking laughable that they haven't done that yet. But that's the end of my soapbox rant. I'm certain that everybody who's listening to this podcast who watches Rick and Morty shares the same sentiment. Right?
I didn't know you smoked weed.
Bro, I literally smoked a blunt in the park before we did this.
Yeah.
It was wonderful.
I didn't even know you smoked, man.
There was a duck. There were two ducks.
There was some very, broken ducks.
Bro, I got them ducks high. They were so chill. They were like, "What's up, bro?
Yeah,
you got anything for me?"
Anything? Yeah.
The Duckford took like 4 hits a week.
Yeah,
like,
Duckford was about it.
I kept blowing in his face, and he'd like fucking wiggle, and he'd like walk off, and he'd like come back. I'd do it again, and we like rinsed and repeated that for a few moments until he decided to go chase pussy. Myrtle was calling his name, bro.
Yeah,
Myrtle
got to make some ducklings, I guess.
Bro, so next to our studio, there's a fucking park, and there's like a pond.
Yeah,
with a creek.
Yeah,
and there are ducks, and we were in the park, and motherfucking ducks came right up to us, like damn near domesticated. It was pretty cool. But either way, to get back to what's going on the show.
Yeah,
right? We keep digressing, but that's fun.
Yeah, that's fun.
They ultimately wind up working together to get out of there.
Yeah,
and like, as they're on the way out, Morty's like, your fucking gods are alive, fuck nature, fuck trees, fuck everyone here, I'm out. And they just vanish. Like, the tree people just, like, kind of, like, look in the general direction of where they were, and they're just like, stumped.
Yeah, like, ha, stumped.
Well, and, like, and, like, he said it in English, so, like, they didn't understand what he said.
Exactly.
Like, it was just, like, Morty was
just, just
letting it out.
Cathartic vomit.
I love that when they get back. Within the microverse that Zeep actually lives and exists within, Rick immediately destroys. They get back and like it all seems chill. Right?
Yeah,
So they get back to the like civilization within the Teenyverse, and then they got to take like a tube up. To the miniverse. And when they get to the miniverse, that's whenever like shit really starts hitting the fan. Zeep turns on them.
Yeah.
And Rick destroys the Teenyverse, which is fucking crazy. That's an act of mega murder. Like, think about that. Really,
well, he destroyed an entire your universe.
How many of those little civilizations existed within that just like weren't getting the direct attention of Zeke? Like, homie literally just destroyed an infinite universe. That's fucking wild to think. But even crazier to think that Zeep created one.
Yeah, so, and Zeep is like, you basically calls him a monster because he threw an entire universe on the floor just to,
Well, I mean, at that point, like, it was just to prove a point. Like, it was just to prove a point. Just like, fuck you for trying to get me.
Yeah.
I love that Rick busts out the Go-Go Sanchez ski shoes.
Go-Go ski.
And it's just like Inspector Gadget type shit.
It's hilarious because he's like, he says something. He's like, "Let's go get a beer," and he's like, "Oh yeah, that sounds great. We'll definitely get a beer."
Let me go get my wallet. Which is it's up in the miniverse. It'll only be a second. And Rick's like, "Bruh, you know how long a second can be in a teeny-verse?"
Yeah.
And so we have the Go-Go Sanchez ski shoes, and they're like running along, and Zeep like passes them up on a motorbike type shit, and Rick like in a panic is like, "Morty,
gotta turn into a car."
A long time ago, I put nanobots in your blood that would make it so that if you ever needed to, you could call upon them and transform yourself into a car. I need you to transform into a car right now. Do it. And Morty starts like going, just like flexing, and then like right whenever he like.
So was it real? Was it real, or was he just doing it?
At the end of the episode, they show Morty turning into a car.
Okay. So this is actually one that I've missed the end of.
Oh wow, yeah. So at the end, Morty turns into a car in the middle of class and like crushes two people, and like his alarm goes off, and he's just like sitting there as his alarm goes off, like looking around, like, what do I do? Well, it's it's just fucking.
Oh my god! I can't believe I missed that ending.
Happens in the middle of class, bro.
That's hilarious.
But
so he's like, "No, don't worry about it. I got a taxi. Let's go."
Yeah, and so once they get into the taxi, it takes us back to Summer and them. Which right before that, like as they're in the taxi, Rick's like, "All right, we're gonna go destroy this whole universe." And the guy who's driving the taxi like
turns around like, "Excuse me?"
Like, what now? You imagine driving a taxi and just like some slightly alien looking motherfuckers get in the back and like, all right, when we get where we're going,
we're gonna just destroy this universe.
Like, really? But so they take us back to Summer, and it basically shows that the car has negotiated peace
between the giant spiders and the people of that galaxy universe.
Yeah, and the military picks up and moves out.
And they have like a brief discussion. Like the military is like, "What do we do with the ship and the girl in it?" And he was like, "A pediatrician and a guy got."
It's like it killed one guy and paralyzed the other
paralyzed. Guy. He's like, "I think that's a good trade-off for peace with giant spiders. Like, let's go."
Yeah, I was like, "This is all fine." And I love that the spider goes, "What a tangled web we unweave." And that's where he's like, I love this spider. The military moves out.
Have you ever seen them give LSD to spiders?
No.
Oh man, you got to watch it. I know you'll love it. It's so great. They actually give them little drops of LSD, and then watch them try and make webs.
Bro, you gave a spider a whole drop of LSD? Wow, that's so much LSD for a spider, bro. Like imagine, like if you just like took a bath in LSD one day, like. Imagine like a fucking, just like a 5-gallon bucket worth of LSD lands on you one day. That's what they just did to a spider if they put a whole drop on a spider, bro. It's like,
poor thing,
you're
man.
Never gonna be right again. Ever. Like,
it experienced consciousness as a human and it went back.
Bro,
and never came back.
Bro, it went through some shit way stranger than that. Let me tell you, bro. I can't imagine having like the equivalent of what a drop to a spider would be of LSD. Like, wow. That's like not even fun to think about. Like, God.
Okay,
God damn it. Wow.
So, that's so crazy. You have to watch it. It's insane what happens.
I'll take a look. So then what happens? Like
they just like they have trouble making the web. So they give them LSD. They also give them several different other kinds of drugs, but this is like when they gave him the LSD, the web was very disjointed, and it wasn't being able to kind of be held together.
Yeah, it's like Well, again,
I can feel pictures, or how was he like? I can hear noises or whatever. I can taste sound or something. I
can smell sights.
I can smell, yeah.
Yeah, shit gets weird, bro. I can't imagine what that poor spider went through. The fact that it even like shot web out of its ass at all is like impressive as fuck to me, right? But so effectively at this point, Rick and Morty are out of there, right?
Yeah.
And they're like getting on their ship to get out of there, and Zeep stops like, Rick! And Morty's like, come on, let's just go. And one of my second favorite line of the whole show is whenever Rick steps off and he's like, you quit school, but you still got a lot of learning to do. And man, whoops his ass. Like, man, they're both dirty. Like, they're both dirty. They both fucking
just
Zeep, like squeezes his eyes. Like
dumb in eyes. Just horrible, man.
Really, really, really like nasty, impolite fight. Like,
yeah, it was dirty.
There was no put your dukes up. Like, these fools were like straight up
they're just like
Krav Maga-ing one another to the best of their ability. And
the Simpsons episode, he's like, why do you? They like go to Jerusalem and he causes a trouble, and so the little girl pulls like some Krav Maga moves, and he's like, why do you keep going for the groin? No groin, no Krav Maga.
That's funny. I mean, it's a big deal. They're gonna if you fucking fight someone who's trained in Krav Maga, they're gonna definitely knee you in the dick. It's gonna be a hard time. You're gonna have a real hard time. It's gonna be a really bad day, I promise. But they get back to the Rick fucking bonks his fool in the head with a rock like after he wins. He like
draws that orange blood on him, man. Just like rips one in right to the side of his head.
Big monkey hits you with a rock and spits on him. And whenever he gets back to the ship, Morty's like, "God damn!" Basically, like
what is wrong? Like he literally like equivalent spanked him for all of the trouble that he caused him.
What he did, he taught him a lesson the hard way.
Yeah.
He's like, you got some learning to do, and we're teaching you the hardest way that there is to learn today.
And so
I'll hit you in the head with a rock, and if that doesn't beat the fucking pointing to you, then I don't know what will.
Morty literally has a breakdown. This is before all this happens. That all of this because they were supposed to get some ice cream, and this is what it's devolved into.
Yeah,
and it goes way deeper than that, man. Because I mean, geez, they could have literally just went home and picked up the ship later. He just wanted to get it. He just wanted to go get ice cream, you know.
Yeah, well, I think that Rick. Like, if he was concerned about getting ice cream, they could just walked and got ice cream. It would have taken 15 minutes. They'd have had ice cream right there.
He wanted to show Morty the universe.
Well, I think that he just likes to go and dick off.
Yeah.
Like, it's much more fun for Rick to go on a big, long-winded, silly adventure over the course of weeks within a miniverse than it is for him to go get ice cream. And, like, it was a simple call to action, and he answered it.
Who knows how long Summer and Morty have been away from, Beth and Jerry, they just don't even care.
So Rick saw this batteries broken opportunity and said yes and
he
improv'd his way through it,
and so they're out, and they're basically he goes to stick the key in the ignition.
Yeah, and Morty goes, I'm pretty sure it's not gonna start.
Yeah, and sure enough starts up, right? Yeah,
and as I said earlier, probably my third favorite line is. Zeep knew what was up. He knew I was going to get to my car, and I was either going to have to toss out a broken battery or it was going to start.
Yeah.
And it started. And Zeep's like, peace among worlds, Rick, on the way out, right? But that effectively, that they wind up going to get the ice cream.
Yeah. So they go to get the ice cream, and, like, I think Rick takes, like, a big lick and pushes aside so you see flies. And he's like, what the hell is going on? And he's like, Summer, what did you do?
She's like, I didn't do anything. It's your stupid car. And it's like, well, my car doesn't do anything unless you fucking tell it to do something. Yeah. And they basically like get into this bickering match because they went through all of this work to get the best ice cream in the multiverse.
It was a human girl that goes up to them and tells them about the treaty and how now the president says that ice cream is for all. It's not just for one.
Yeah, it's ice cream is now for all beings, no matter how many legs.
Yeah, no matter how many legs. It's like love and affection. Yeah,
heart, you know what I'm saying? Like
he went up in the polling points on this one.
She's all about it. But that effectively puts a bow on the episode. At the end, as we alluded to earlier, it does show us that Morty turns into a car in the middle of class.
That's great, man.
But what do you think your favorite moment of the whole episode was?
Oh my goodness! Like my favorite part, I think I was laughing. I know that there was a point to where I legit busted out laughing, and I think that was when Morty is essentially, they see he's like burning. He's slowly just getting under Rick's skin, and then I think the president tells him, "Well, doesn't time slow down there?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, thanks for reminding me."
Oh, yeah. Great president.
Great
Thank you.
president. Yeah.
I think that easily my favorite part of the whole episode was the ass whooping.
just
Rick could have left, but he needed to ensure
it was a Craig level humbling.
Yeah, it was dope, bro. I really enjoyed this episode a whole lot. It was a little bit different from some of the episodes, right? Like the type of comedy that was in it was real sharp.
Yeah,
like it was like all like cuts. Like again, like I said earlier, it kind of all felt almost like
just one
like
burn.
Gym talk. Like it just felt like there was a lot of extra testosterone.
Yeah, just one burn after the other. You could tell that there was just like coming off of the heels of a couple of like kind of semi serious episodes, I guess, or like little darker in tone. You
gotta understand that like the other episodes, they were building story.
Yeah.
Like building universe, right? Whereas this was like literally self-contained.
Self-contained.
This is all contained within Rick's car battery.
Yeah.
And so they were able to just like take the gloves off, and like moments where they would be needing to put information out that like makes it all make sense, they were just able to talk shit.
The funny thing is that Family Guy worked up to so many episodes where they wanted to see if Stewie and Brian could hold an entire episode merely in a bank with no external kind of like, just them in a bank, them stuck in a bank.
Themselves challenges.
Yeah, exactly. And it seems like to this point, they could almost do the same. They almost did the same thing when they were talking about the parasite that came in on the shoe. I mean, they legitimately they gave themselves one contained space with multiple, of course, people being able to be introduced, but strictly through happenstances from the previous episode. Like Family Guy was solely only able to keep it interesting with two characters cutting themselves a really tight window, when these guys did something really ingenious and were like, oh, well, he can have a parasite on his shoe, and not only can we make this one room so interesting, we can fill it up with interesting people strictly from the parasite, perspective, which is hilarious,
Yeah, it's crazy what they're able to do. The level of how sprawling it can be in such a contained space. Like,
exactly.
We want to talk about having 50 neat characters introduced within a room. We just got introduced to a whole universe within a box. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just the level of creativity and the level of ideas that they're willing to reach for and like create for us, right? Like these are neat ideas that people have, but the fact that they're able to go and like produce it and create it and like make a piece of art that effectively communicates these wild ass ideas that they're having is super neato to me. Like the fact, they've made an episode around the concept of Coke bottle universes. Yeah. Like you have a universe within a universe within a universe. Like it's just a big fractal, and like the idea is that Rick's within a box too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and at the end of the day,
boxes within boxes within boxes. Anytime that I get to see a fractal,
it's one of the. I think that Men in Black Part 2 did it poorly, but Men in Black Part 1 did it really well. Whenever you see the universe getting pulled out of, like, it was on, like, I don't know, like Kaz's collar, Jim's collar, whatever it was, the cat's name collar.
And it was just like a marble in a bag.
Yeah, it was like a marble in the bag of a universe. And then I think on Part 2 or whatever, he closes the locker on like these really small things, and they're like,
there's like this whole civilization that lives within that locker.
Yeah, and then you pull out, and then of course we're just merely a locker.
Yeah.
In this universe of just lockers. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's neat how anytime you get to see a fractal like that, it's fun. But like Rick, I could take this and make fractal dust. Imagine getting some fractal dust and then getting to watch a show that's effectively showing and artistically representing fractals.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I think that this on a high dose. I think that Rick and Morty on a high dose of LSD is like something you ought to do.
something I ought to do.
Anybody ought to do.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm talking directly to the listeners.
I know, it just made me laugh because you're like.
I mean, you should do it, dude. Like, you should absolutely do it. I'll hold you down, put a couple drops from the Visine bottle in each eye. What's up? 4 drops, 2 to each eye, bro.
Turn me into a spider.
That's enough to go. Like, you get to talk to God. You can talk to God for real quick. You can have your heart weighed against the feather of truth in the hall of Anubis.
Yeah, I'm good, bro.
How does that sound?
It sounds horrifying. And
go teabag some multi-dimensional beings, bro.
Yeah, like you were a mass. What were you? What dinosaur were you?
Oh fuck! Are you talking about my dream, bro?
Yeah, you were.
Wow. I was an ankylosaur, bro.
Ankylosaur.
Holy
that's right.
fuck, bro. Man, wow. I can't believe you remember this story. Holy shit.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so I do like lots of drugs, right? And like do weed constantly, and so I don't get much REM sleep. And when I have dreams, they stick with me. And I was totally an ankylosaur, one of those like rock-plated dinosaurs.
Yeah,
with, like,
you got killed because you were taking a drink of water.
Well, the thing that was anxiety-inducing about it all leading up is that I was worried about crocodiles. Right? Like I'm an ankylosaur, right? Like I'm pretty fucking sturdy. Like you're gonna try and get me? Like I'm an armadillo, basically.
Yeah.
You know, but like one of them crocodiles can grab you and drag you into the water, and you can suffocate real quick.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't, like if they just get a hold of you,
they just gotta find a
underwater,
soft spot, and you're done.
What's the going underwater? Like, they don't even need to gut you. Like they just get you to where you suffocate, and that's that. And so that was the big concern. Is I was worried about getting suffocated by an alligator getting dragged into the mud and water.
Yeah.
But I nutted up because I was gonna die if I didn't. Right? Like I knew I was going to die.
It's two deaths.
I was absolutely gonna die of thirst if I didn't go do it. And so I nutted up, looked at the surface of the water, tried real hard. Took the most satisfying few drinks of water I've ever had in any existence that I've ever had across every universe that's ever existed ever. And right as soon as I felt that level of satisfaction, I saw something move out of the corner of my eye. And it was two like not tyrannosaurs. Like I knew they weren't like in my dinosaur brain, I knew they weren't tyrannosaurs.
Yeah.
Because tyrannosaurs are bigger. Tyrannosaurs, I'll tell you, I know how tyrannosaurs acted because I lived the life of a dinosaur. Tyrannosaurs come and they're like scavengers. They're the biggest and the baddest. They let everything else hunt.
Yeah.
And then they walk up and go, "Hey, this is mine." And
get away from it.
If you're gonna try and stop me, I'll eat you too.
Yeah.
And that's how tyrannosaurs did it. They didn't go, "How did tyrannosaurs hunt?" They didn't. They sat on top of the hill and let everything else do the work. And so there were two like 3/4 tyrannosaurs, right? Like, like big, like the red dinosaur from the most recent Jurassic Park, an allosaur. Like allosaur size dinosaurs. And bro, they have fucking like newborn chicken feathers.
Yeah.
Like it's not like big bird feathers at all. It's like if you were to take a newborn chick and like they still have like the kind of like weird twisty spindly little feathers, they were covered in that. And like they were like it got dirty.
Yeah.
And so, like, until they washed it off, you wouldn't know what color it was. But the point is that it was the color of earth. Like, they had like hues of the color of earth all over them because their little feathers were getting dirty.
Mm-hmm.
And there was 2 of them, and they like came at me both ways. And I hit one of them with my rock tail, and I felt its leg break as I hit it, and it flopped over on the ground. And I knew in that moment that I'd won, and I felt the sensation of victory. And I went to look for the other one, and it bit down on my head from the top and twisted my head until the episode was over. And on that note, them Portal Boys been podcasting. This is Joshua.
This is Elias.
Thank you guys so much
Thank
for
you so
tuning
much.
Monkey mouth. Monkey mouth. Monkey mouth. Monkey mouth.